Hi friends, it's Cindy Lyon from Greetings and Memories here to show you how to make a little cracker treat box. And I know I had shown a photo on Instagram and Facebook of the little treat boxes from the September Paper Pumpkin subscription kit, and everybody thought they were adorable and were disappointed to find out that it was too late to subscribe and get that box. So I promised I would come up with instructions for duplicating that design. So I took the little piece that came with the kit and measured it out and made some small adjustments because we were getting down to measurements of less than 1/16 of an inch on that one, and I didn't want to be that fussy. I wanted to keep it to 1/8 of an inch measurements. So this is what I came up with. And don't worry, I will include a photo of this template and put the measurements in the comments below the video for you so you don't have to try to scribble them down while you're watching or whatever. So anyway, to start, the difference is that I made this just a little bit wider than the original. I made it 5 1/4 inches wide and 7 inches tall. And what we're going to do here is we're going to be doing all these score lines. So just so I don't accidentally grab the cutting blade and cut when I mean to score, I'm going to go down here, this little notch on my paper trimmer, and remove that cutting blade and get it out of our way. And now, so along the short side here, I'm going to basically score at each 7/8 of an inch. So I'm going to start the first one at 7/8 of an inch. And score that. The next one at 1 3/4. Two 5/8. Three 1/2. And the last one at 4 3/8. So if you can see those score lines, they're a little easier to see when the light catches them. So we've divided that into 6 sections across. Now along the longer 7-inch side, we are going to make our first score line at 1 inch. The next one at 1 5/8. The next one at 2 1/4. Then we're going to go to 4 3/4. Five 3/8. And then the last one right at 6 inches. So if you can see the score lines on there now. Oh, you really can't see them on that side, can you? But yeah, this is some of our double-sided designer series paper from the Magic in This Night collection from Stampin' Up. So we've got that multicolor floral design on that side and that kind of a lacy spiderweb design on the reverse. But we're going to work on this side since it's easier to see the score lines there. So move the paper trimmer to the side, because what we need to do now is we need to cut these little triangles out. And you could go ahead and fold and cut each one individually, but I'm all for taking shortcuts. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to accordion fold it along those score lines. But you know what? I did the wrong side because we want to be able to see this black background is a little easier for you to see what I'm doing as opposed to that really lacy looking pattern. So hopefully you can see the score lines on here now. You've got the first score line, the second one, and the third one. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down to that second score line from the end. And we're going to basically divide it into thirds. It doesn't have to be precise, just kind of eyeball it. Make yourself a couple of little dots there. So you can see that that center section is roughly the same as the two side sections. And then we're going to flip it around and do the same thing on the other end. Go to that second score line and make yourself a couple of little dots there for reference. And again, don't have to be perfect. Close is good enough. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go from the third score line and cut up towards the dot on the second score line. We're going to do the same thing coming from the first one, and then we'll flip it around and do the other side. And then we'll do the same thing at the other end. So here we go. We'll just go ahead and cut from that third score line up to my dot on the second line. From the first score line up to my dot on the second score line, and remove that little piece. Do the same thing on this side. Flip it to the other end and do the same thing from the third score line up to our little dot. From the first score line to that dot on the second line. And from the first line to the dot on our second line. And last cut from that third score line up to the dot. And voila. And you'll see the diamonds aren't all exactly the same size because of the way that it was folded, but that won't matter in the end. You won't notice once you've got everything folded together. So now I do want to put it with the inside up. And I'm going to fold along those score lines and fold it towards me, fold it away, and find my score line. And fold back towards me again. And the reason I'm doing it upside down is because I want this part to be the peak of the fold and the valleys of the fold to be down here. And so we do the same thing on the other end. Fold it toward me, fold it back, and fold it toward me again. And so you can see how that is. And now we did fold on those score lines already, but because some of them were folded the reverse, in order to cut, I'm going to just make sure those are all folded the right direction. And then come back here, and as I mentioned earlier, we have our 6 sections here, but our finished treat holder has 5 sides because we're going to overlap 2 sections there to put that together. So I'll get my snail adhesive here and run a line of that along the edge here. Oops, I also need to get a little closer to that edge. And give that a little nudge. There we go. And so now I'll bring this around, match up those edges and those score lines. And because this is a 5-sided structure, I can't lay it down to press that adhesive together, so I have to kind of poke my finger inside of there so I can get that adhesive. So there's that. And now we'll get us a little piece of twine out of our kit here. Sorry, I keep forgetting that I'm putting my hands out of the shot. And a little tip here, I was having some trouble holding this twine tight enough while I was tying my bow. And then I realized if I just wrap it around there twice and give it a good tug, it holds it together a little better. So see how that stays tight? It doesn't loosen up while I'm trying to make the bow. And you can use twine, you can use some ribbon. You know what I probably should have done? I should have pulled out some of that silver mesh ribbon from that Magic in This Night suite and used that. But so there's that end tied. And then just pop a little treat in there, a little toy, some pieces of candy, whatever you want to put in there. You could use this, maybe put a label with a name on it and put those on everyone's plates for Thanksgiving dinner as your little place card. Use them as a little favor holder for a birthday party, whatever you want to do with them. But just go ahead, tie the other end up there and embellish it how you please. You can see the original has some little pumpkins and things on it. And then this one, I used a label that I cut from the Tasteful Touches, or Tasteful Labels rather, die, and stamped that with one of the stamps from the Halloween Magic, and put some of my little sparkly bats on there from, again, from the Magic in This Night suite, that black glitter paper, because I like sparkly glittery stuff. And what's nice about that paper is that glitter doesn't shed. You don't find little bits of glitter all over your house when you're done. So anyway, there you go. There's the instructions on how to put together the little cracker treat boxes for whatever you might want to use it for. And I will go ahead, like I said, and put a photo of this template and all the measurements in the comments below the video. Again, this is Cindy from Greetings and Memories. If you're interested in purchasing the paper trimmer or some of the Magic in This Night suite of products, you can find those at cindylyon.stampinup.net. Thanks for joining me. See you again next time.